Branston and our work with Branston over the years is the perfect example of how you can work with one village and their artistic ambition can increase the more projects you do. I first worked there probably 12 years ago on a parish map scheme through which they just created a map of the parish boundary. Then they went on to produce a village history booklet. And then a few years ago we were approached by the people that were involved in that history booklet, and they carried on to do some more research, and they wanted to update the booklet, and we suggested that the booklet was a fine idea, but actually only people interested in history were likely to get hold of that booklet. And wouldn't it be more interesting to create some other ways of sharing the village's distinctive story with visitors?
We have 3 carved oak seats that the group have done, which are now in place in the village, showing Branston past, present and future. We're also doing a large mosaic, which is a timeline of the village's history, which is 13 metres by 4.
There's some of the evacuees at the old side of the old pub. It's one of the old village taps. And that's one of the planes from RAF.
We have commissioned a piece by Paul Hancock's down at Waterwheel Lane.
And it's been fascinating. I do not class myself as artistic at all, but I've really enjoyed it, one morning a week and 9:30 till 11, it's just gone poof, just like that. It really has been very interesting, and I've astonished myself at what it's turned out like.
I think they form a very important part of generating a sense of civic pride and a sense of community. I think the other strand, the kind of professional commissions, tend to achieve a similar thing in that by the artist involving the community in discussion about what the work that they're doing and trying to build an understanding of their sort of processes, their design processes and their thinking behind the work, that encourages the community then to start to think about the place that they live in different ways.
The Heckington project for us is a perfect example of how the arts can genuinely contribute to wider objectives, and in this case economic development objectives. We came up with a ridiculously difficult commission for an artist to come up with something that would stop people driving straight through the village, that would then make them get out of their car and walk around the village.
We selected an artist originally to produce an art piece, but in addition to the art piece that they ultimately produced, we asked them also to produce a range of street furniture which developed throughout the project. So we've got seats, railings and bins and signs that are in a similar style. An artist called Ben Cood Adams, and the main piece that Ben produced is a clock, which is a clock featuring famous people from Heckington.
All it is really is figures playing a chime on a clock, and they can be very simple and just move their arms, or they can be very complicated and move all sorts of bits. And the idea was to add to people the attractions of the church and the 8-sail windmill.
And so each hour you've got this beautiful thing that suddenly starts to come to life, and you can imagine that people will catch it out of the corner of their eye and think, what on earth is that? They will pull over, they will see a bit of information that tells them what it is, that they will stop and wait to see this thing come to life, and then they potentially will go for a walk around the village, find out what it is that it's all about, and then come back an hour later to hear another tune. With Sleaford Regeneration Scheme, it gave us opportunity to test methods of delivery that could then be applied to some of the village regeneration schemes. So with Sleaford Pride, we knew that we had an opportunity to develop distinctive street furniture, to develop fencing and seating that reflected something that was special about Sleaford, so that then when we did the village regeneration schemes, parish councils would have an understanding of what sort of things might be possible. We've also used Sleaford to provide artists opportunity to do slightly more imaginative or challenging schemes that push the barriers of what people thought might be appropriate for a rural area. So here at the Nettles we've done some temporary artwork so that we're introducing the idea that public art doesn't just have to be carved wood, carved stone, permanent things, but that can be more playful and sometimes more challenging. In the River Slee we commissioned an artist called William Lasden to do a more contemporary stainless steel piece. We're working at the moment with a chap called Michael Dan Archer who's designing a sound piece and has already completed a neon artwork for Sleaford. And then along the Riverwalk itself, what we've tried to do is use every opportunity of pots of money available to commission artists to create as many artworks as we can for Sleaford and for the Sleaford corridor, so that we're very definitely making a statement that the visitor offer to Sleaford includes the spectacular pieces of public art that people will find here. I think where artsNK and the public art in North Kesteven is at this particular time is very exciting. It's a position of maturity. I think people's understanding and expectation of public art has grown because of the many successful projects we've already completed. And I think because of that, the ambition for what they want to see in the future has grown, not just in terms of the quality of art that they want to see, but in what the art can contribute to what it is that they want to achieve over the coming years.
You know, when we first approach a village, they might want a village sign carved in wood, and by the time they've gone through the process with us, they're interested in much more kind of contemporary ideas, much more challenging pieces, and I think we really need to grasp that and develop that further.
And it just says, hey, we've got something here worth celebrating. And we don't have to be skilled, you know, highly skilled to do it. By working together with people who have got the skills, we can produce good artwork.
Very frequently, wherever we're walking in North Kesteven, we come across works of art.
It isn't only the art that's important, it's the community spirit and the fact that a group of people stay together and work together.
artsNK as a provider for the community arts can't be faulted. Absolutely brilliant.
I think artsNK has given us the opportunity to do projects that other organisations perhaps wouldn't have been gutsy enough to actually give to us.
If we want to start to really celebrate what we've achieved here and to really develop it, then the next stage needs to be about increasing the ambition, increasing the scale.